Claymore, out of nowhere, right to the skull of Cody Rhodes when his back was turned, when the entire arena thought the story was finally about to end, and just like that, Drew McIntyre ripped the heart out of Royal Rumble 2026 and set it on fire. No warning, no mercy, no hesitation. And if you're not angry right now, if you didn't feel your stomach drop when Cody crumpled to the mat, then I genuinely don't know what match you were watching. Because what happened at Royal Rumble 2026 wasn't just a betrayal. It wasn't just a shocking elimination. It was a calculated, cold-blooded screwjob that may have permanently changed WWE's main event picture. And here's the real question to start us off: was Drew McIntyre right, or is he officially the biggest villain in WWE right now? Drop your answer in the comments, because this one is going to divide the fanbase like nothing else. Let's rewind to the moment everything felt perfect. Cody Rhodes enters the Royal Rumble with the weight of the entire company on his shoulders. The crowd knew it. The commentators knew it. WWE knew it. This wasn't just another Rumble appearance, this was destiny knocking again. Cody wasn't smiling. He wasn't pandering. He was focused, intense, almost haunted. You could see it in his eyes. He didn't come to survive. He came to finish the job. And then came Drew McIntyre. No grand stare down. No immediate hostility. Just two top-tier competitors coexisting in the chaos. For a moment, just a moment, it looked like mutual respect. Cody and Drew clearing house together, dumping bodies over the top rope like wreckage. They were efficient, ruthless, almost unstoppable as a temporary alliance. Tell me honestly, at that point, did you trust Drew? Yes or no? Simple answer in the comments. Because that trust is exactly what made the betrayal hurt so much. As the Rumble wore on, the ring filled with heavy hitters, former champions, rising stars, absolute chaos. Every countdown felt like a threat. And through it all, Cody kept surviving. Every close call got a bigger reaction. Every near elimination made the crowd louder. You could feel the momentum building. This was his match to lose. Then it happened. Final four. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and two other exhausted, broken bodies barely clinging to hope. The crowd was on its feet. You could hear people screaming Cody's name, not chanting, pleading. This wasn't just about WrestleMania. This was about redemption, legacy, closure. Cody dumps one competitor. Drew eliminates the other. Final two. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Let that sink in. Two men who both believe WWE owes them something. Two men who both think they were robbed by circumstance, by politics, by timing. Two men who refuse to be denied again. They circle. The crowd roars. The tension is unreal. And then, Drew extends his hand. A pause. Cody hesitates. Would you have shaken his hand? Be honest. Cody does. And that's when everything went to hell. Drew pulls Cody and bam, Claymore Kick. No build-up. No countdown. Just sudden violence. Cody flips inside out. His body collapses like a marionette with its strings cut. The arena goes dead silent for half a second, and then absolute chaos erupts. Drew doesn't hesitate. He grabs Cody, hoists him with pure rage, and dumps him over the top rope like he's throwing away trash. It's over. Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble 2026. And Cody Rhodes? He's on the floor, staring up at the lights, realizing the dream just died again. Tell me this, is this the most brutal Rumble elimination of the last decade? Because here's why this moment hit harder than almost anything we've seen. Cody didn't lose because he wasn't good enough. He didn't lose because he made a mistake. He lost because he trusted the wrong man. And Drew McIntyre knew exactly what he was doing. Look at Drew's face after the elimination. No smile, no celebration, just fury, vindication. A man who believes the world finally makes sense again. This wasn't about Cody. This was about Drew finally choosing himself. Let's talk about motive, because this wasn't random. Drew McIntyre has spent years being the guy who carried WWE through the empty arena era, only to be pushed aside when crowds came back. Title reigns cut short. Opportunities missed. Promises broken. In Drew's mind, Cody Rhodes represents everything he never got: adulation, patience, endless second chances. So when Drew looked at Cody in that ring, he didn't see a partner. He saw a roadblock. And he kicked it down. Here's a question for you: does Drew McIntyre have a point, or is he just bitter? Now let's talk about Cody's side, because this is where the story gets heartbreaking. Cody's entire journey has been about trust. Trusting the fans. Trusting the process. Trusting that doing things the right way would eventually pay off. Every loss he's taken has added another scar. And Royal Rumble 2026 felt like the final chapter. That's why the betrayal stung more than a clean loss ever could. Because now Cody doesn't just have to recover physically. He has to recover emotionally. How do you come back from that? The camera caught Cody sitting at ringside long after the match ended. No trainers, no anger, just emptiness. That look? That was a man questioning everything. Do you think this loss changes Cody forever? Or does it fuel the most dangerous version of him yet? And don't get it twisted, this wasn't just a moment. This was a message. Drew McIntyre just declared war on the entire WWE locker room. Because if he'll do that to Cody Rhodes, there's nobody he won't betray. Social media exploded instantly. Fans were furious. Some called it genius. Others called it unforgivable. Former wrestlers weighed in. Legends debated whether this was smart strategy or a moral line crossed. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the Royal Rumble has no rules about honor. Drew didn't cheat. He outplayed. And that's what makes this so hard to swallow. Let's break down the Claymore itself, because it wasn't just a kick. Cody was mid-turn, off balance, trusting. Drew waited for the exact second Cody relaxed. That's veteran instinct. That's killer mentality. That's a man who refuses to let destiny slip again. And now Drew is headed to WrestleMania. But here's the thing nobody is talking about enough. He didn't beat Cody in a fair fight. So is Drew's WrestleMania title shot already tainted? Do you respect Drew's win, yes or no? Because I promise you this, Cody Rhodes is not done. History tells us something important: every time Cody gets pushed into a corner, he comes back sharper, meaner, more focused. This loss could be the spark that turns him from beloved hero into something far more dangerous. Imagine a Cody who no longer trusts anyone. Imagine a Cody who stops shaking hands. That should terrify the entire roster. And what about WrestleMania? Do we really think Cody is just going to accept this and move on? Or is Drew McIntyre about to find out that screwing Cody Rhodes has consequences? Let me ask you this: do you want to see Cody vs Drew at WrestleMania anyway, even without the Rumble win on the line? Because the tension between these two is nuclear now. Every stare, every promo, every encounter is going to drip with resentment. Drew believes he was justified. Cody believes he was robbed. Neither man is backing down. And WWE knows it. Royal Rumble 2026 will be remembered for one thing: the night trust died. The night strategy beat honor. The night Drew McIntyre stopped asking for respect and took what he believed was his. And the night Cody Rhodes learned once again that finishing the story means surviving betrayal. So now it's on you. Was Drew McIntyre a genius or a coward? Was Cody naive or noble? And most importantly, who are you backing after Royal Rumble 2026? Sound off in the comments. I want to see this debate get ugly. Because if this moment did one thing, it proved that the road to WrestleMania just became a war zone and nobody is safe. And if you think the chaos stopped when the bell rang, think again, because the real fallout didn't even begin until after Drew McIntyre stood tall. The cameras followed Drew up the ramp, and listen, this part matters. No pyro, no celebration pose, no looking back at the ring. Drew didn't soak in the moment like a hero. He walked with purpose, jaw clenched, eyes cold, like a man who just crossed a line and doesn't care who's mad about it. That tells you everything. Because Drew McIntyre didn't win the Royal Rumble for the fans. He didn't win it for validation. He won it because he believes WWE owes him, and he's done waiting. Now let's jump back to the ring, because this is where the heartbreak really settled in. Cody Rhodes slowly pulled himself up using the barricade. The crowd started chanting his name again, louder than before, almost defiant. This wasn't a sympathy chant. This was anger. This was the audience saying, no, this isn't how your story ends. Cody looked around, not at the fans at the ring, the same ring that just betrayed him. And for the first time all night, Cody looked furious. Here's something I want you to think about: when was the last time you saw Cody Rhodes look genuinely angry? Not emotional, not passionate, but angry? Drop the match in the comments if you can remember one. Because this felt different. Backstage reports, yes, the whispers started immediately, claimed that several superstars were shocked. Some expected Drew to turn eventually, but not like this. Not here, not this ruthless. And here's where the locker room starts to split. On one side, you've got the win at all costs mentality. People saying, this is the Royal Rumble. There are no friends. They argue that Cody should have known better. That trusting anyone at that stage is a mistake. But on the other side, you've got wrestlers saying Drew crossed an unwritten line. So let me throw this at you: are there unwritten rules in the Royal Rumble, or is everything fair game? Because depending on your answer, Drew McIntyre is either a mastermind or public enemy number one. Now imagine being Cody backstage after this. You've trained for a year. You've visualized this moment 1,000 times. You were seconds away from punching your ticket to WrestleMania. And instead, you're sitting there replaying one decision over and over in your head. The handshake. That's going to haunt him. And the scary part, Cody is the kind of guy who learns from pain. We've seen this pattern before. When Cody loses the right way, he grows. But when Cody gets screwed, that's when things change. This loss wasn't clean. It wasn't honorable. It was personal. Which raises another huge question: does Cody Rhodes even want to finish the story the same way anymore? Because let's be real, fans love Cody because he's hopeful. Because he believes. Because he represents something pure in an industry built on deception. But Royal Rumble 2026 just taught him a brutal lesson: purity doesn't win championships, ruthlessness does. And Drew McIntyre just proved it. Now let's flip the lens back to Drew, because this is where his character becomes fascinating. Drew didn't grab a microphone afterward. He didn't justify himself. He didn't explain his actions. And honestly, he didn't need to, because Drew's entire career has been one long argument. An argument that says I was chosen too early, forgotten too fast, and replaced too easily. Think about it. Drew fought through injuries. He carried the company when arenas were empty. He did everything asked of him. And when the world came back, so did everyone else, and Drew was suddenly just another guy. Cody Rhodes, meanwhile, returned to thunderous applause, cinematic entrances, and endless patience from management. You don't think Drew noticed that? You don't think that resentment built every single week? So when Drew saw Cody standing between him and WrestleMania, he didn't hesitate. And here's a wild thought: what if Drew believes he saved himself from becoming irrelevant? Because that Claymore wasn't just aimed at Cody's head, it was aimed at the system. Now let's talk legacy. Years from now, when fans look back at Royal Rumble history, this moment will be replayed endlessly. The slow-motion kick, the shock on Cody's face, the instant rage in the crowd. This wasn't just a highlight, it was a defining moment. And those moments always create ripple effects. Do you remember how certain betrayals in wrestling history created entire eras? Because this feels like one of those moments. This feels like the night WWE shifted from hope to hostility. And that's why this next part is crucial. What happens next? Cody Rhodes now has a choice. He can chase the title the right way again, grind through elimination chambers, gauntlet matches, contender bouts. Or he can hunt Drew McIntyre. And I'll ask you directly, which would you rather see: Cody earning another shot, or Cody going scorched earth on Drew? Because revenge stories hit different when they're justified. And let's not ignore something else: Drew is walking into WrestleMania with a massive target on his back. Not just from Cody, but from everyone who now knows he can't be trusted. You think people are going to team with Drew now? You think anyone is shaking his hand again? He may have won the Rumble, but he also may have isolated himself. And isolation in WWE is dangerous. One more thing, and this is important: the crowd reaction. Yes, Drew got booed, loudly, but did you notice something else? A section of the crowd cheered, not because they hate Cody but because they respected the audacity. That tells me WWE has something special on its hands. A villain who believes he's right. Those are the most dangerous ones. So here's where I want to hear from you: no fence sitting. Did Drew McIntyre just become the best heel in WWE, yes or no? Because love him or hate him, you're talking about him, sharing clips, arguing online. And that's exactly what a true main event player does. Royal Rumble 2026 didn't give us a feel-good ending. It gave us a conversation. And that conversation isn't ending anytime soon. Cody Rhodes was screwed, Drew McIntyre was ruthless, and WrestleMania just became unpredictable. Sound off in the comments, pick a side, argue it, defend it. Because this rivalry, this isn't over, not even close.